Okay, today I want to talk about my chucks. I had a question from somebody who's getting a new Harbor Freight lathe, and they're very excited about it, and they're getting into turning, and they said, what kind of chuck should I buy? They said Barracuda 2 or SuperNova 2, and I said, well, that's exactly what I have. And I tried to explain a few things about the spindle size. This is 1 inch in diameter, 8 threads on the Harbor Freight, which I believe fits the Barracuda just right. But if you want to go to a different lathe, they make these big adapters, which this adapts up to 1 1/8 inch diameter by 8 threads, which goes on my jet. So I can just pop that off, use it on here, pop it up, or put it back in, and then use this chuck on my jet, which has a bigger spindle. You can see I've got a set of coal jaws on here to make this a little bit bigger. But looking at the Barracuda, I realized why I bought it when I bought it. Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. Here's a set of basically 1 inch jaws. Plate jaws. Actually, that looks like a face plate that goes into the chuck, tightens up, and then you can screw in. So you got a face plate option. You've got basically, these are about 2 inch in diameter across jaws that come with it. There's some pin jaws, and I also know I have another set of like 1 inch jaws that came in the kit. So with that kit, that's pretty cool actually. And then with the Barracuda 2, the way it actuates, you have this, I don't know, but it's not necessarily a hex nut or something, but it goes in there and it spins the gears, and it's exposed. Gets a little bit of sawdust in it, but I've had this for a long time and I've used it a lot, and it seems to work pretty good. So PSI Woodworking Products, this is the CSC 3000C Barracuda 2. So it's not a monster heavy weight chuck, but it'll work. It'll handle the capability of this lathe, which is I think 12 inches. So not a bad choice. The way you change the jaws are just little nuts here. So this is part of the Wood Turning 101 series. Introduction to the Barracuda 2 chuck. Now I'm going to, I think, slide this out of the way. Now I want to talk about my SuperNova 2 chucks. And as you can see, just in stature, in size, it's got a little bit more heft. It's got a little bit more heft on the Barracuda 2. So it probably comes with the price tag. It uses a hex key wrench. It goes in here to open it up, and I tend to tighten it. And the other thing about this chuck is, if you get this chuck, get lots of them like it, because it opens and closes exactly backwards to every other chuck on the planet, seems like. But there's my little screw for bolt turning that goes here in the middle, and as you can see, it's got, I think those are about 1 inch jaws, about 2 1/4 is the diameter across there when it's closed. And then a real close-up on what I was talking about. This is an adapter insert, so the chuck itself is big. It's like not two, it might be 1.5 inches, might go up to 1.5 inches, and then, or maybe 1 1/4 inches, and then my jet is 1 1/8 inches. So I have just this shim adapter, so I could pop this off, get one that was 1 1/8 if I wanted to put it on here, or if I bought this chuck, I'd get the proper adapter for this, and then when I move up to a newer lathe or bigger lathe, if you stay with the hobby, stay into it, those are $15 quick change compared to the price of a whole new chuck. So that's kind of cool. And then this one, you can see, is a lot newer, and I've got on this a set of 4 inch jaws. And the reason I have 4-inch jaws are, well, this is kind of just a temporary block. The reason you need 4-inch jaws is when you're doing like a 12-inch bowl, or this is 8. That's about 10 inches across there. I originally turned this, and you can see this was the size of my tenon. It was a big mistake, and as soon as I touched the tool to it with that tiny tenon, the tenon popped off and this fell on the ground. So I moved up to safety, and I'm going to put a big 4-inch tenon, which is another rule of thumb from Mike Mahoney. He says 40% is the size you need for your tenon. So this is a 10-inch bowl. I need at least a 4-inch spigot across there. I always call it a spigot. It's a tenon. So then the other thing, I know I've got another SuperNova kicking around here with some 5-inch jaws. So I'm gonna have both set up. So I think from now on, I'll just stick with the SuperNovas and maybe get another one with my 5-inch jaws. And then if I'm doing anything really big as far as a bowl goes, I'll probably get like a Longworth chuck. So I hope that explains a little bit about the chucks. I did mention some chucks have these things where you put bars in them, and you hold this and you hold that, and there's 2 bars that close the jaws down. It's just a personal preference of mine. I don't particularly like that kind of a chuck. So I've gone with these. And then once you kind of settle on a chuck brand, all the tools interchange, so I have 2 or 3 of these around the shop, and I can always find one to go on my chuck. I know the Vic marks are amazing and fantastic chucks, and if I had the money, I'd have 6 or 8 or 10 or 12 of those, but I don't. So turning I've done, the SuperNova 2 seems to work pretty good, and I can't argue with the Barracuda 2 as being a fairly good introductory set with a whole bunch of different jaw pieces. So I hope that helps. Thanks for watching. Subscribe.